This is Santiago's starting point. As a shepherd in the meadows of Spain, his life is defined by the rhythm of this flock, marked, predictable, and entirely safe. He has managed to secure a reliable livelihood. Between the wool, the milk, and the baseline security of his homeland, he has every reason to stay exactly where he is. But his stability is interrupted by a recurring dream. He sees himself at the foot of the Egyptian pyramids, unearthing a massive physical treasure. Pursuing that dream requires a total liquidation of his current life. To get to Egypt, he has to sell every sheep he owns, trading his guaranteed survival for the gamble of a lifetime. If Santiago were only interested in money, this journey wouldn't make sense. He could have grown his business in Spain without ever having to risk a crossing of this blistering, high-stakes environment. At first, Santiago is driven by the logic of a businessman. He subjectively believes the entire point of the desert is to reach the gold waiting on the other side. He doesn't realize that the universe is using the allure of physical gold as a mechanism to pull him out of his comfort zone and into a process of internal change. That change begins with a disaster. Shortly after arriving in Africa, Santiago is robbed of every coin he possessed. He is left penniless in a land where he doesn't speak the language. He is forced to pivot from the life of a traveler to a menial laborer, taking a job in a crystal shop just to buy a meal. He is no longer reading about the world. He is surviving it. We can map this as the shift from theory to experience. Santiago's safe life in Spain was a flat line of comfort. The robbery shatters that line, forcing his trajectory into this volatile spike of vulnerability and growth. Each of these peaks represents a moment where he had to adapt. The pain of being robbed served as the curriculum, teaching him how to navigate human nature and trade in a foreign market, skills he never would have acquired in a meadow. He had to lose his material safety to gain the lived reality of the world. When he leaves the crystal shop, he is no longer the boy who left Spain. When Santiago reaches the desert oasis, he meets Fatima. This image of the desert girl represents a turning point in how he understands human connection. In many cultures, love is framed as possession, a reason to stop traveling and settle down. But the logic of the desert is different. Fatima chooses to sacrifice her own desire for his presence. She insists he leave her to pursue his personal legend, even if he never returns. This act reframes love as a propellant. Instead of acting as an anchor that keeps him stationary, her support gives him the permission he needs to continue his mission. Santiago eventually meets the Alchemist, hoping to learn the specific instructions for turning base metal into gold. He's looking for a recipe, a set of data. But the alchemist pushes him past simple information. He teaches Santiago to look at the genesis of things, to understand the language of the wind and the omens of the desert. This transition from facts to wisdom is tested when Santiago is captured by hostile tribals. To save his life, he has to apply the alchemist's techniques to influence the natural world, synchronizing his own presence with the violent windstorm. Calling upon the storm to facilitate his escape proves his evolution is complete. He hasn't just memorized facts. He has learned to interact with the universe on a level that was invisible to him as a shepherd. Santiago finally reaches his destination. After months of travel, he stands at the foot of these massive pyramids, ready to dig up the gold. But there is no gold. Instead, he is beaten by thieves who knock his journey. One of them laughs, telling Santiago that he also had a dream of a treasure buried under a tree at a deserted church back in Spain. It is the ultimate irony of his journey. The treasure was located at the exact spot where Santiago used to sleep with his sheep before he ever left home. On the surface, the quest looks like a failure. He walked across a continent only to be told that what he wanted was right back where he started. However, if he had found that gold on day one, he would have remained a boy with a flock. He would have had the money, but absolutely none of the capacity to keep it or understand it. We see the true value here. Material wealth is weightless. It can be stolen by a thief in a moment. But the inventory Santiago built, the lived experience and the self-awareness, is a permanent asset that no one can take from him. The gold coins provided the necessary motivation to start the journey, But the person who eventually returns to that tree in Spain is an entirely different version of the boy who left. The journey itself was the real alchemical process.